lights on. Should do. And yeah, and rain light on as well, some fog light on. Pull it out. Fog on, rain light on. Cool. Enjoy. Yeah. My generally watching it on the video, you think about wet lines. Going nice and wide, like move into the middle of the road for the braking zone. Like up here, you want to be another car width to the right, I think, to see if there's more grip. In the back straight into the chicane, definitely middle of the road, and you'll find a lot more grip. You can go back to the outside before you turn in, but just when you have the big hit on the brake. Oh, you've got ESC off and TC on. Okay, I wasn't sure watching it, couldn't quite see. Just try and get a feel. Try and get a feel for the brake, because at the moment you're unsure. I saw where you went deep over the hill. It was like you braked a little bit early generally in the previous right. It was like you were like, I'm braking too early, so you then tried a bit later. The last lap, you braked a bit earlier into the first right at the top of the hill again. Didn't give you a moment, didn't it? So you're fine on that, where you're keeping it nice and wide and cutting it like nice late turn into that. The brake, when you're getting on where the track's quite good on the outside, you can actually go deeper on the brake for the first right. For the second right, I think just sort of stay where you are. Again, try the middle of the road, see if it's better. You can also, like, what I'd suggest for the next one is just go and explore, try the outsides. Middle of the road for braking, but then try the outsides and see if you pick up some grip. Obviously the braking for turn 1 and the braking for the chicane, you've got loads of tarmac, so that's where I'd really try and hammer into the ABS and get a feel. It doesn't look on the video like it's moving that much. What's it feel like in the car? Are you happy with ABS where it is? Would you go up or down? It just feels cold and horrible. What pressure's like? Low, high? High. Okay. So we might get a bit more grip from going down on pressures. Just explore really, don't be afraid to try a couple of different things. I know it's pretty cold and miserable out there.
What about
The Craners, honestly, Craners is fucking horrible today. Just keeping a bit of steady throttle through it and being nice and smooth as you come off and go back on, just keeps the car stable. It's never going to feel great. I think your line's okay, and see, we were talking about the old hairpin. If there's a lot more grip on the outside, use it. If it feels pretty similar, obviously you're doing a shorter distance on the inside, just be careful on traction. Yeah, Craners, unfortunately, there's no real cheat code. You've got, like, your line through there is right, but turn 1, you literally want to go to the white line on the outside and then turn, and you'll feel it. You'll feel a lot more grip out there, and then you can almost be straight on the exit, and you'll find you can
still carrying after the braking?
Yeah, but honestly, if you go deep, it'll be stop, turn, go. Whereas when you're sort of close to a dry line at the moment, you're skating on all the ice, and it probably feels fucking horrible. Whereas when you go, if you really V it off, you'll find a lot more grip under brake and a lot more traction on exit. I'm not going to say happy, but you're alright to go again?
Yeah.
Cool.
red gate, I definitely just need to brake later.
As soon as you get offline, it fucking stops.
Yeah, it does.
And it's mega.
So that's an easy fix.
Third gear, stop
Third
using
gear,
second. Third at cops, fuck me. Third at red gate, you need to use third in the chicane as well. When you go into the apex, obviously you're not on throttle,
Yeah.
so you can roll the curbs in the middle as well. Just run a bit of speed through it and then get, obviously your initial throttle can be later because you're not going to be on throttle on curb.
On the inside.
Both inside curbs, yeah. I'd use, through the chicane, use both curbs. Just send it through there a bit more. Yeah, the braking in red gate can be a lot later because now that you're off the slippery stuff, it is actually stopping, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first right-hander out the back, like at the top of the hill after Old Hairpin, looks much better now you're going deeper.
Yeah.
It just watch when you're tempted to touch the brake a bit early is when you're having the moment. So it's all like if you need a bigger lift to keep the confidence to leave the brake later for the left, or even a higher gear.
Yeah.
The Old Hairpin when you went wider looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like it squared up and worked. But again, watch you don't go down too many gears there. Sometimes you're dropping another gear and it.
Yeah.
Problem is then the nose grips up, but then it's oversteery. Whereas when you just roll the higher gear, it's a bit more stable.
Yeah. But that right when you come up the hill and go right onto the straight, I don't know what I'm doing there, but whatever it is, it's not working.
Just try going like middle of the road and go to the outside.
Yeah.
And then sort of square off and turn it because it's probably a bit too quick on the exit to stay white line all the way around the outside. But just, like before the first stop where you went like 2 wheels into the gravel, that's because you were full outside. I think if you go middle, and then there's that curb on the left. If the nose goes to the outside when you're halfway along that curb, it should then be grippy and it should then turn back. It is always a bit shit because that's obviously you're going over a crest, so the car's a little bit unloaded, but also that's where the planes take off and land directly over, so it's always greasy and shit. But yeah, a bit more middle of the road braking, straight to the outside, turn it, and then sort of go again. But third, not second, because second just kills it too much, and it puts it too on its nose for when you then go to traction.
Because when I was behind him earlier, when he was behind me earlier, you could just see in the rear view mirror where he's come round that corner and he's just like he's just dry. He just drove round it on the outside curve, just nothing. So I don't know.
I'll see where we are with bars for the next one. Whether we might be, it's hard because if you go soft, you'll have more feel, but you won't put as much temperature in the tyre.
Yeah.
So I'll see. I'll double check where we are and what we do on that one.
I mean, it could just be a case of the fact that he's got newer tyres.
That's the other thing. Is obviously we have got a new set of boots there.
Yeah.
I said to the boys, if we're going to use them, we probably want to use them in the next one because there's no point in using them like when the track's nearly dry. So then you just fuck them. You'll get a good session out of them when they're brand new, and then they'll drop. They won't be as bad as these, but you'll get like that session they'll be mega, and then the next session they'll be back a bit. I think they're digging that Ginetta out, but there's still, when it went red, there was about 15 minutes left, so you should still get another run.
Yeah, it's a weird place it went off.
I think he spun, and then it rolled back, and then he tried to drive it forwards and just dug a hole.
He must have rolled back an awful long way.
It looks it.
He was like right by the barrier on the inside. Because he got going, and then he got stuck again.
Yeah, just dug a bigger hole. This is where they get the fucking truck stuck trying to tow it back off the grass and that. Ah, it's coming back. Might be worth firing up. Obviously, you'll have to do TC again and stuff. You're leaving TC on but ESC off, yeah?